Bruce F. Hart was born December 21st, 1937, to Fred and Catherine Hart. He was raised on Tyler Street, which is south of Main Street, but later moved to Bluff Street. Bruce attended Garfield Grade School, while his future wife, Janice, attended Grant Grade School. He was an avid churchgoer from a young age and attended Park Presbyterian Church, where his future wife, Janice, also attended. In high school, Bruce was highly involved in sports and clubs. He played basketball for 4 years, football for 2. He was on his class executive committee as the treasurer. He was on the class dance committee, the prom committee. He also was in the movie projection club. But the most involved he was in any club was S Club, of which he was president his senior year and highly involved his junior and senior year because he had attained varsity letters. He's also active in Y clubs put on by the YMCA, which were service organizations, and he was a 2-year student council class representative. Bruce graduated from Streeter Township High School in the class of 1956, and from then on, he headed to the University of Illinois. After 4 years, he received his Bachelor's of Arts in Finance. But during his time at Illinois, he was highly involved in their very large Greek system. He was a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity and was once featured in a September 24th, 1956 edition of Life magazine, which featured the plight of the new Rush inductees for the fraternities. It's about a 5-page article, and there's a really nice picture of Bruce with one of his Streeter friends rushing and choosing a fraternity at the University of Illinois. Bruce was actually president of the Sigma Chi fraternity his junior year, and was very well liked by his fellow Greek men. As well as participating in the Greek program, Bruce was also a junior ROTC member, and in the midst of the Cuban conflict, served as a first lieutenant in the United States Army from July 1961 until December 1962, right after his graduation from the U of I. He was actually stationed at Fort Knox. After college, Bruce returned home and, using his BA in finance, acquired a job at Streeter Federal Bank, where he was a loan officer and oversaw payments. In May of 1963, Bruce entered the real estate brokerage business with his father and started Hart Realty, using his expertise in banking and finance to his advantage. The business was sold in 1999 after over 30 years being run by Bruce and his father. In his 47 years as a real estate broker, it is estimated that Bruce sold over 2,700 houses. It is also estimated that at one time he sold the same house 8 separate times. In addition to being involved in the brokerage business, Bruce spent 30 years in the banking business, retiring in 1992 from Streeter Federal Savings and Loan. Seeing an inadequacy in health care for the elderly in the central Illinois area, Mr. Hart and his brother Craig used their business experience and expertise to enter the nursing home business. In 1964, Mr. Hart was instrumental in establishing Heritage Manor Nursing Home and Senior Care on East Main Street in Streeter, only the second facility built in Illinois. Just a few years earlier, his brother, Craig Hart, along with William Frulich and Tom Jefferson, established the first Heritage Manor nursing home facility in Bloomington, Illinois. Heritage Enterprises now manages 48 locations in Illinois and employs over 4,000 people. In addition to having a very successful professional career, Bruce was also a very committed family man. He married Janice Williams on August 14, 1960, at Park Presbyterian Church, and had 3 children, Leslie, Todd, and Alan. Mr. Hart was also a huge supporter of the Streeter community and worked tirelessly in volunteer work and raising money for community projects. He was a staunch supporter of the beatification and improvement of the Streeter community. He raised money for the YMCA as a member of the endowment board and was instrumental in Streeter's prolonged fundraising success in United Way, an organization that he and his wife had been involved in for over 50 years. He also served on the Riverview Cemetery Board, raising between $9,000 and $10,000 each year to maintain the cemetery. He even lobbied for Colonel Ralph Plum to receive an adequate plaque to commemorate his military service as a colonel in the Civil War at his gravesite in Riverview Cemetery. Mr. Hart also played an important role in acquiring the funds for the band shelter and fountain restoration in the Streator City Park. Additionally, Mr. Hart was an active member of the Streator Rotary Club, the Elks Lodge, and the Streator Country Club, of which he served a term as board president. In addition to his volunteer involvement, Mr. Hart became involved in city politics in 2007 with his election to the Streator City Council. He served until his death on April 14, 2014. A devoutly religious man, Mr. Hart and his wife were lifelong members of Park Presbyterian Church. Bruce's favorite personal pastime activities were supporting U of I sports and, as he said in a Streator Voice article, eating, sleeping, and drinking the Chicago Bears. Even in Bruce's later years, he still kept in touch with his Sigma Chi brothers, of which he was acquainted with when he was at the University of Illinois, specifically the Kappa Kappa chapter. Also a savant of Illinois history, Bruce enjoyed reading about Abraham Lincoln and belonged to the Abe Lincoln Association of Springfield. His interest stemmed from his father's invention of the phrase "Land of Lincoln," which became the slogan of the state of Illinois. Upon his death, city manager Paul Nicholson said of Mr. Hart, "He was a man of philanthropy and goodwill and did so much quietly behind the scenes." Other community members were quoted as saying, "He was a great man, a true supporter of our community and everything within it." Quote, "He was a true gentleman that always put Streator first. He will be missed." Streator City Council member Ed Brozak said, "I don't think there is a more generous person than Bruce Hart. He did many generous things for the community that no one will ever know about." He loved his community, Mayor Jimmy Lansford said. This was his hometown and he loved his community. He had a passion almost of wanting this image to improve. He was only one of 3 people and the first to reach the United Way goal in 4 weeks, Betty DeGusto said, chairman of the United Way board. Jack DeZuris, the executive director of the Streator Area Chamber of Commerce and Industry, said of Mr. Hart, "He certainly was an ambassador for Streator. He tried to pull things together for the community." From his successful professional career to his passionate community endeavors, Bruce Hart excelled as an entrepreneur, an advocate, a parishioner, a spokesman, and a friend to his beloved home community. He truly had Streator's best interests at heart. This is why Bruce F. Hart is worthy of being in the Worthy S. Streator Hall of Fame.